Okay, so today we're going to dive into a bike that really tries to, well, do it all, doesn't it? That kind of blend between proper adventure riding and, comfortable road touring.
Hmm.
I'm talking about the Suzuki V-Strom 800DE. We found people calling it the Dual Explorer pretty quickly.
Yeah, that name fits.
So our mission today is basically to unpack what makes this thing tick, what gives it that Dual Explorer vibe.
Right, and it's Suzuki's middleweight adventure bike. It sits, strategically right between the 650 and the bigger 1050 V-Stroms.
Ah, okay. Filling a gap.
Exactly. And this deep dive, well, we'll get into how they've engineered it to kind of bridge that gap, how it handles both the tarmac and the rough stuff.
Cool. So let's start with the heart of it then, the engine. What are we looking at? Sources point to a 776cc DOHC parallel twin.
Yep, 776 parallel twin.
And hang on, there's something about a 270-degree crank that sounds specific. It puts out about 84 horsepower, 78 newton meters of torque. What does that crank angle, actually do for the ride?
Ah, good question. It's not just a number. That 270-degree crank, it basically mimics the firing pulses, the feel of a V-twin engine.
Okay.
So what that gives you is really good traction, especially off-road, and a very predictable power delivery. You know exactly what it's going to do, which is, well, critical when things get slippery or technical.
Right. Predictability is key there. And it's got a standard quick shifter, too, bi-directional.
It does, yeah. Standard fit. That's a really nice touch for this class. Makes shifting up and down super smooth, no clutch needed. Lets you just focus on riding.
Nice. And fuel efficiency. People always ask about that for touring.
Claim figure is around 22.7 kilometers per liter, which honestly pretty impressive for a bike this capable. Good for the long rides.
Definitely. Okay, engine sounds solid, but the Dual Explorer name, that really comes down to the chassis and suspension, right? How it handles different surfaces. What did the research show there?
Exactly. This is where you really see the dual-purpose design shine. It's built around a steel tube frame, pretty rugged, combined with an aluminum swing arm.
Steel frame, okay. Strong, but maybe a bit heavy.
Well, it provides that necessary rigidity for stability on the highway,
Yeah.
but also just enough flex, to handle the bumps and hits you get off-road.
Yeah.
That's a balance.
Makes sense. And suspension.
Long travel stuff, Showa forks up front, upside-down type, and a Showa rear shock. Both give you about 220 millimeters of travel.
220 mil, that's substantial.
Oh, yeah. That's proper adventure bike territory, designed to really soak up rough ground. And then you got the wheels, classic off-road setup, 21-inch front, 17-inch rear, spokes wheels, of course.
Right, the 21-inch front helps roll over obstacles.
Precisely. And they come shod with Dunlop Trailmax mixed tour tires. So the whole package, suspension, travel, wheel sizes, it's all pointing towards genuine off-road capability alongside pavement manners. It really backs up that dual explorer idea.
Okay, so it's got the mechanical chops. What about the electronics? Suzuki Intelligent Ride Systems, Sarai RA. Sounds comprehensive. Riding modes, traction control.
Got the suite.
3 standard modes, A, B, C. But there's this special G mode, gravel mode. Plus, 5 levels of traction control, switchable ABS with an off-road setting.
Yeah.
My question is, for a bike that needs to be reliable out in the sticks, does all this tech add complexity, or does it genuinely help, especially when you're switching between road and dirt?
That's a fair point. Some riders do prefer simpler machines. But the way Suzuki seems to have implemented it, particularly that G mode and the off-road ABS,
Yeah.
they're really designed to empower the rider, not complicate things. The G mode allows a bit more controlled wheel spin for better traction on loose surfaces. The off-road ABS lets you lock the rear wheel if needed, but keeps the front in check.
Ah, okay, so it's functional tech.
Exactly. It builds confidence. It makes that transition from tarmac to trail less intimidating, potentially opens up more routes for people, it extends its capability, and you still get the nice-to-haves like the 5-inch color TFT screen, USB port, adjustable screen, practical stuff.
Okay, so putting it all together, engine, chassis, tech, what's the actual ride like? What are people saying?
Well, on the road, the feedback is generally really positive, described as fun, comfortable enough for long hauls, surprisingly capable in twisty sections, canyon carving capable, stable at speed, too.
And off-road.
Very capable seems to be the consensus. Though, as often happens, some more serious off-road riders or long-distance tours mention wanting maybe grippier tires or a taller windscreen.
Standard upgrades for adventure bikes, really.
Pretty much. But the key thing is we're seeing reports of people doing serious distances comfortably, Pune to Bangalore, things like that.
Yeah.
It proves the bike's real-world usability and comfort.
That's good validation. So where does it sit in the market? You mentioned the price earlier.
Yeah, launched in India June 2025 at 10.3 lakh, ex-showroom Delhi. which, puts it right in the competitive spot.
Seems reasonable for what you're getting.
It does. It's offering genuine all-round ability without forcing you into those, like, much heavier, much larger displacement adventure bikes. It's a very appealing middle ground.
So summing it up, the Suzuki V-Strom 800DE looks like a really solid contender in that mid-capacity adventure space. Good engine, capable chassis, smart electronics, and proper dual sport readiness.
Absolutely. It seems to strike a great balance.
The proper dual explorer.
Which kind of leads to a final thought, doesn't it? If this bike finds such a good balance between different types of riding, what does that balance look like for you, the listener, in your adventures? Is it about going deep down one path? Or is the real joy in being able to switch between them? Something to think about.